Tonight, find out what sorority is raising awareness about child abuse.
Plus, see what students are doing to find jobs after college. Stay tuned. Troy Trojan Vision Nightly News starts now.
From the high-definition digital production center on the Troy campus, with news from Troy University locations around the world, this is Troy Trojan Vision Nightly News.
Hello and welcome to Troy Trojan Vision Nightly News for October 4, 2012. I'm Courtney Addison.
And I'm Judson Garner. Thanks for joining us this evening. All this week, the members of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority have been raising awareness about different service organizations. Last night, the organization continued AKA Week with the political forum. Brad Cox has the story.
Wednesday night, the members of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority held the political forum, Don't Be Left in the Dark, where Troy University students were able to hear from two political parties' opinions on the presidential debate.
We have a representation for the Republicans and the representation for the Democrats, and they're just basically going to give what they stand for.
Students were able to hear and discuss various topics from the two political parties and have any questions about the views of each party answered.
We discussed very much domestic issues, energy, jobs, education, healthcare, and just how us as a college student is affected by the legislation and beliefs of either candidate.
It just gave me a broader outlook and opened my eyes to more things that are going on with both parties. I got a better idea and outlook on how they really feel.
Members in the panel and in the audience encourage all students to be informed about voting in the upcoming presidential election and to be able to form an opinion based on individual values.
You need to be able to really be informed and understand what your country's doing and decide what you agree and don't agree with.
I just feel like a lot of people should just take more effort and actually go out and try to learn about both parties. You have to go for who benefits you.
The participants in the forum say that they were happy with the participation of the audience and look forward to Election Day.
I think they grasped it pretty well. They seemed pretty involved with the questions that were asked.
I think it does get us all excited to see what's coming up on November 6th and see what happens to America.
Bobby Cox, Troy Trojan Vision News.
Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority will hold a clothing drive tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the Trojan Center.
College students are constantly worried about finding jobs after college. Today, Troy's Career Services Department held a career fair hoping to help students find jobs after graduation. Thursday morning, students gathered in the Trojan Center ballrooms hoping to meet his or her future employers.
It's basically just to help any up-and-coming graduates try to get those jobs, but it's also for any other students that are underclassmen, upperclassmen, doesn't matter. We just want them to start building relationships with employers.
Businesses from all across the Southeast came to the career fair looking for students eager to join their workforce. One Troy student says what he has learned from the career fair.
Talking with them so that I know what exactly they are looking for. It's like matching what are my requirements and what are their requirements. And if I really like it, how you need to talk, what you need to do, how you represent, all that stuff. It really helps a lot. It's really a plus.
One goal from the career fair is to offer internships to Troy students through the participating companies.
They start to try to get some leads on internships, and those tend to turn into jobs a lot of times.
Lauren Colt, coordinator of Career Services, says the career fair has been successful, employing 1/4 of the students who have participated in previous years. Courtney Addison, Troy Trojan Vision News. The next career fair will be in the spring. Well, Judson, a teddy bear is something a lot of children use to keep them safe from things that scare them.
That's right, Courtney, and something as simple as a teddy bear can be used to comfort a child through a tough time. And one sorority had that in mind. Bethany Wilson has a story.
Many people may be aware that girls in sororities definitely know how to have fun. However, one sorority on Troy's campus took the time Wednesday to volunteer in the community. Kappa Delta sorority held a teddy bear drive September 24th through October 3rd. This drive was concluded with a walk from the Kappa Delta House to the Troy Police Station in honor of child abuse awareness.
The police officers keep these teddy bears in their car just in case they have to pick up a child from a car accident or just maybe an abusive situation, and they give the teddy bear to the child to comfort them.
Murphy and some of the members of this organization were inspired by this community service and hope it sparks an interest for people to get involved.
We are trying to raise awareness for Prevent Child Abuse America, and that way the community can see what we're doing, and it's good exercise too.
There is no comparison to what they have to go through, and I'm just glad that we can contribute in such a small way.
I really enjoyed the teddy bear drive today. It made me feel good knowing that I could take a little bit of time out of my day to help people and potentially change someone's life, even though I may not meet them.
The Kappa Delta sorority went out today to show their support for the prevention of child abuse, and according to the local police department, they did not disappoint.
I think we're a little overwhelmed. So many, obviously they've done a great job collecting these teddy bears, and by these sorority, providing these stuffed animals, certainly that is a way by which we can, maybe bring a smile back to their face.
287 bears were collected throughout the drive, and with such a huge amount, the police station decided to give away some of the bears to the Child Advocacy Center as well as the University Police. Bethany Wilson, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
Kappa Delta's next event will be a flag football tournament on the intramural fields on Sunday, October 21st.
And now taking a look at news from around the state. In Tuscaloosa, police say someone broke into the private home of Governor Robert Bentley over the weekend and stole items. They are not saying what was taken and no arrests have been made, though police are continuing to investigate.
In Birmingham, authorities say a police officer could face up to 10 years in prison after being convicted of beating a handcuffed prisoner 5 years ago. A jury convicted 34-year-old Corey Hooper yesterday of depriving the civil rights of Martez Goli during the beating in 2007.
In Montgomery, the governor says 5 more counties will be eligible for federal aid aimed at helping communities recover from damage caused by Hurricane Isaac. Governor Robert Bentley says the Federal Emergency Management Agency has approved the request for counties of Covington, Dallas, Geneva, Monroe, and Perry.
And still to come on Trojan Vision Nightly News, the volleyball team is off to an impressive start, and they hope to keep that momentum moving forward. Justin McNelly will join us with sports next.
But first, the first presidential debate was held last night, and many political analysts say Romney had the edge over Obama. We'll have that story and more after the break.
President Obama comes out swinging after Mitt Romney's strong showing in their first debate. I'm Tara Mergener at the White House with the story coming up.
Massive earthquake has rocked the city. Worst natural disaster this region has ever witnessed. When a disaster strikes, time is a killer. The UN Central Emergency Response Fund jumpstarts relief efforts, which saves lives. Help us help in time. Donate now at rapiddisasterrelief.org.
Our eTroy program is one of the largest in Troy University. So whether students take classes in Tennessee or in South Korea or Japan or Vietnam, there is no difference in quality.
Get your degree on your terms with eTroy online degree programs. Flexible, accredited, respected across the globe. Troy University. It's all you need to know.
My name is Dr. Lee, Troy University College of Education, and I choose Troy.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning Trojan Vision Nightly News.
And now for a look at what's happening across the nation and around the world, we'll go to Courtney Addison at the Global News Desk. Courtney?
Thanks, Judson. Mitt Romney returns to the campaign trail today with new life in his run for the presidency. A CBS News poll of uncommitted voters shows he won last night's debate by a 2-to-1 margin. Tara Mergener has the latest from the White House.
Mitt Romney made an unscheduled stop in Colorado today following his strong performance at the first presidential debate.
The American people last night were given a choice. They were given a choice between two different visions for America.
Romney set the debate tone early, slamming the president's economic record.
Under the president's policies, middle-income Americans have been buried.
But the president repeatedly insisted that Romney is calling for $8 trillion in tax cuts and spending that cannot be paid for without adding to the deficit or burdening middle-income Americans.
It's math. It's arithmetic.
At a campaign stop in Denver today, the president said his opponent doesn't want to be held accountable for his economic proposals.
That's because he knows full well that we don't want what he's been selling for the last year.
Privately, the Obama campaign is conceding that Romney's extensive debate preparation paid off at a time when he needed a lift. Many viewers saw a president not at the top of his game.
He seemed a bit nervous for some reason, almost that some questions threw him off, and Mitt Romney seemed to throw him off a bit as well.
But not everyone is giving the win to Romney.
Obama he was more comfortable with his ideas. Romney was working a bit too hard, trying to convince people because he's down on the polls.
The president and Mitt Romney square off again 2 more times. The next debate is a town hall-style event in New York. Tara Mergener for CBS News, the White House.
Tensions are growing between Syria and Turkey after a mortar fire across the border killed 5 Turkish residents. Monica Villamizar reports from London.
Turkey's parliament approved military action against Syria, but said it's not declaring war on its neighbor. The government can now send troops or warplanes across the border to attack Syrian targets if Turkey feels threatened. The Turkish military fired 6 miles into Syrian territory for a second day. It's a direct response to this mortar attack. A rocket launched from Syria hit a Turkish town, killing 2 women and 3 children. Residents say they feel the war next door has spilled over. He says, "We are scared to death of when another bomb will strike." Syria has apologized for the incident and claims it was an accident. Europe and the U.S., both military allies of Turkey, condemned the border shelling.
I once again urge the Syrian authorities to put an immediate end to the violence and fully respect the territorial integrity and sovereignty of all neighbouring countries.
Anti-war protesters clashed with the police in the Turkish capital. Security teams used pepper spray to push them back. As demonstrators marched toward parliament, they chanted, "We don't want war." Syria assured world leaders that there won't be another border incident. Monica Villamizar, CBS News.
The death toll from a meningitis outbreak has now grown to 5 victims. 26 people in 5 states have already become sick. All the victims received steroid injections, which experts say contain fungal meningitis. Venita Nair reports from New York.
Sue Manor is waiting to see if she gets meningitis.
I just sort of thought, okay, we're going to research this. And of course, the more I research it, the more worried I get.
Manor is one of 400 patients who got a call from a Tennessee clinic saying they may have been exposed to fungal meningitis, a rare form of the disease which is not contagious. The biggest outbreak is in Tennessee. There are also a handful of cases in Virginia, Maryland, Florida, Indiana, and North Carolina. All the victims got sick after getting steroid injections, most for back pain.
None of us have seen anything like this, where a medication injected into the cerebrospinal fluid has caused infection. So we're in new territory here.
The steroid medication came from the New England Compounding Center in Massachusetts. Federal investigators say they found fungal contaminants in unopened vials at the facility. They are telling doctors not to use any products from the company until their investigation is complete. Meningitis is an inflammation of the lining of the brain and spinal cord. Symptoms include headache, nausea, dizziness, and fever. Sue Manor is hopeful she will stay healthy.
I'm sort of trying not to, think of it as being possibly me in a day or 2.
And if she starts to feel any symptoms, she'll call the hospital right away. Venita Nair for CBS News, New York.
And that wraps things up from the Global News Desk. To see more stories from across the country and around the world, you can tune in to Troy Trojan Vision Global News right after the nightly news. Now, back to you, Judson.
Thank you, Courtney. And now Justin McNelly joins us for a look at sports. So, Justin, the Trojan football team is taking a break this weekend, but there's still other Trojan athletes in action.
That's right. The Trojan soccer team is at home this weekend, along with the volleyball team and rodeo teams are both on the road. But I'll get to that and more here in sports. After an impressive win over South Alabama this past Saturday, the Trojan football team is enjoying a weekend off from a game before they hit the field next week. Since joining the Sun Belt, the Trojans are 4-1 in midweek games, with the only loss coming last year to Florida International in Miami. The Trojans will have a much tougher test against a Western Kentucky team who is currently second in the Sun Belt standings. Also, the Trojans have an 0-2 record at the friendly confines of Veterans Memorial Stadium this year. Larry Blakeney knows even though his team does not have a game this week, that does not mean they are going to take it easy.
It's a funny thing about this college football.
You know, if you're not willing to, it's sort of like academics. If you're not willing to go and spend the time and study, you probably ain't gonna make A's and B's. And you know, we need to make some A's and B's this week in football, and so we're gonna try to expose them to it.
The Trojans and the Hilltoppers will take this weekend to rest up for their matchup next Thursday in Troy, starting at 6 p.m. Well, Jimmy Johnson won 5 straight NASCAR Sprint Cup championships. Roger Federer won 5 straight Wimbledon titles. And even the Trojan football team won 5 straight Sun Belt titles. However, the Trojan soccer team is not having as much luck with the number 5 as these people did. The Trojans have now dropped 5 straight matches to start conference play. 3 of those games were against conference teams. The last loss was not even close as the Trojans fell 5-1 against North Texas. However, Chris Bentley says his team's motivation is going to be the turning point this season.
Honestly, they're motivated themselves. I think a lot of times it's not really my job to motivate them. It's more my job not to demotivate them. They've got a good attitude. Really, our job is to create an environment that they can prosper in and create some opportunity for them. And then, honestly, training this week's been great. They've been working hard, and we're looking forward to seeing how they do Friday.
The Trojans hope to turn things around this weekend as they play host to Arkansas State this Friday at 3 p.m. at the Trojan Soccer Complex. And speaking of Arkansas State, that will be the Trojan volleyball team's next opponent for the coming weekend. The Trojans are improving tremendously from their 0-3 start and have now won 3 straight games. In that time frame as well, the Trojans have only dropped 1 set, and that was the opening set to FIU last Friday. Sonny Kirkpatrick said that his team's recent success can be pointed to his team's perseverance through practice.
I think our team understands what we ask for them in practice. We push them pretty hard, and they're starting to see the benefits of what we do in practice and how we do things.
The Trojans hope to make it 4 straight wins, but more importantly, 4 straight conference wins in a row. If this happens, this will be the first time since joining the Sun Belt they have accomplished such a feat. And after a good weekend last month in Missouri, the Trojan rodeo teams are set for another round of action in Kentucky starting today. Both men's and women's teams will compete in the Murray State University Rodeo. The women's side looks for back-to-back wins after an impressive win in Missouri and have a 48-point lead in their regional standings. The men's side hopes to improve on their 10th place rankings. Both teams will finish up action on Saturday. So as you can see, Judson and Courtney, big win for the Trojan sports. Football team is off, and maybe the soccer team can finally turn things around in that losing streak. Maybe they could take a few lessons from the volleyball team, pick up some big key wins. And even the rodeo teams in action, maybe they can get back-to-back wins.
Yeah, and we talk about football a lot, but it's just as important to support all Trojan athletics.
That's right.
So if you can go, make sure to get out there and support the Trojans.
That's right.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Coming up on Troy TrojanVision Nightly News, we'll find out what professional sport will be making its way back to Troy.
But first, we saw another pleasant day today, but how is this weekend going to look, Bree?
We have been experiencing those picture-perfect conditions, and projections say those temperatures are here to stay. I'll have more coming up in weather.
Today, we gather to recognize the selfless decision of one of the most influential women of our time. The woman who, after having one too many drinks, chose not to drive home buzzed. Here today to honor Rachel is the family whose lives she spared.
Clean kitchen surfaces, utensils, and hands with soapy water. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning Troy TrojanVision Nightly News.
And now Bree Sanders joins us for a look at weather.
So, Bree, we've had a beautiful day today, not a cloud in the sky, sunny skies. Can we be seeing that go into our weekend and beginning of next week?
Yes, exactly. As we head into the weekend, those temperatures will be here to stay and for next week too, but I'll get more into that in just a moment. First, let's take a look at our campus snapshot. Right now on campus, we see that it's a very beautiful day outside right now. So whether you're headed to work or you just want to stay outside and just enjoy the day, you definitely can. Take a look at our current conditions. Skies are sunny in our area. Temperatures at 83 degrees, dew points at 57 degrees. Humidity is at 41%. Barometers at 30.19 inches and steady. Winds are coming in from the northeast at 7 miles per hour. Today's stats, we had a high today of 83 degrees, a low of 59 degrees. There was no rain in our area. The sun rises at 6:34 a.m. and it should set at 6:24 p.m. Temperatures around the state. Overall, our state is experiencing some lower 80-degree temperatures, mid-80s right now. Mobile coming in at 85, Huntsville at 81, Birmingham at 79, Montgomery and Troy at 83, Phoenix City at 84, and Dothan at 82. Looking at our temperatures in the southeast here in our area, like I said earlier, we're experiencing some upper 70-degree temperatures right now. And as we head throughout the rest of the southeast, those temperatures remain constant over there in the Carolinas, upper 70s, lower 80s. Looking at our temperatures around the United States here on the West Coast, a lot different from yesterday. California in the upper to lower 70s right now. Yesterday they were almost in the 100-degree temperatures, very warm in their area. Looking at the current surface map, we have a few heavy to moderate rain systems coming on through the West Coast. And as we look closer to the east but still remain in the west area, we have a few cold fronts coming in through that area, possibly pushing towards our way later on next week, maybe even bringing in some cooler temperatures. As we take a closer look at the state, nothing too much going on right now. Low winds in our area, but we do see this cold front that we experienced earlier this week pushing that cold weather in our way past our state, now going into the Atlantic Ocean along with those rain conditions. So we may not be seeing any rain over the next few days. Here's our precipitation forecast showing us just that rain here in the southeast. Along the east coast, they'll be experiencing about 1/4 of an inch to about 1/2 inch of rain in their area, but still none in ours. Departure from normal, we're about 4 degrees warmer than what we've been seeing lately. So just when we thought those fall temperatures were here to stay, they warm back up just a little bit. As we move into tomorrow on Friday, still no rain in our area, but we do see these rain conditions right here coming in through the Midwest, starting our weekend out on Saturday. Like I said earlier, still no rain, but that rain does get a little bit light towards the northern part of our state, covers Tennessee as a whole, begins to move down towards the rest of the southeast. As we close out our weekend on Sunday, that rain does not hit our area. It skips over us and goes up to about the northeast. And as we begin our week on Monday, still no rain in our area. The southeast remains clear as a whole. For tonight's forecast, we have partly cloudy skies. Winds light and variable coming in from the north-northeast at about 3 miles per hour with a low of 59 degrees. So tonight will be definitely much like last night. Won't be too warm, won't be too cold, but you can definitely grab a light jacket just to stay out of those conditions. For tomorrow's forecast, we have mostly sunny skies, a few clouds in our area, 10% chance of rain. UV index will be very high. Winds coming in from the northeast at about 5 miles per hour with a high of 86 degrees. Tomorrow will be much like today. Very beautiful outside, picture perfect. Those warm temperatures coming back into our area. May not need that light jacket for a while. Taking a look at our 4-day forecast, like I said, tomorrow that high will get to about 86 degrees, a low of 59 degrees. As we start our weekend out on Saturday, that high gets to 87. Temperatures still increasing. That low gets right at 60. No more cooler nights. As we close out our weekend on Sunday, that high goes down to 78 degrees, about a 10-degree difference from Saturday. Looks like those fall temperatures are coming back into our area with a low of 52 degrees. On Monday, that high goes down to about 76. So, Courtney, we have been experiencing picture-perfect conditions all week long. It was cooler as we started the week off, but it did get a little bit warmer, and you did ask about the weekend. So as we head into the weekend, those temperatures will remain warm, no rain in our area, but throughout next week, those temperatures may lighten up just a little bit, bringing in some fall temperatures back in. So definitely be on the lookout for that.
Exactly. It's going to be a great weekend to get outside and enjoy the weather while we can still have it, while it's not too hot, not too cold. Perfect weather outside.
Definitely. I mean, and I think it's technically the fall season, so everyone's been kind of expecting those cooler temperatures to come in, and it looks like Monday we're finally going to see some cooler temperatures. So.
Exactly. We finally have them. So
yeah. 76. I'm not complaining.
At all.
No,
yeah.
Break out the boots.
Yeah. Thanks, Bree.
Thanks, Bree.
You're welcome.